oil isn't enough. This country needs an all-out, all-of-the-above strategy that develops every available source of American energy.
Did you know the U.S. has the greatest fossil fuel reserves in the world? That's because of shale gas.
We have twice as much natural gas in this country, is that what you're saying, than they have oil in Saudi Arabia?
I'm trying to very clearly say exactly that.
The development of natural gas will create jobs and power trucks and factories that are cleaner and cheaper, proving that we don't have to choose between our environment and our economy.
This really was a very bleak jobs report. Unemployment rate up, the number of unemployed Americans up, average hours worked down, average hourly pay slightly down. As one economist put it, stop looking for the silver lining. There isn't any.
A strategy that's cleaner, cheaper, and full of new jobs.
Pennsylvania currently has enough gas production that it can be energy self-sufficient and even export gas. In 9 years' time, it should be able to supply 1/4 of this country's total natural gas needs. It's also been creating jobs. According to the State Department of Labor, 72,000 jobs have been created by the gas industry in just the past 18 months. And the Penn State report says this year, 156,000 jobs will somehow be impacted by the gas industry.
We have a supply of natural gas that can last America nearly 100 years. And my administration will take every possible action to safely develop this energy.
The Marcellus is a huge, huge opportunity. It is already recognized as the most successful, largest, and most economic, repeatable, large-scale gas play in the United States. Potentially could be one of the largest gas fields in the world.
Because America will develop this resource without putting the health and safety of our citizens at risk.
So this will be this county, Washington County, Westmoreland County, then you go to the Northeast, we are on the hot spot. We are now an industrial gas field.
Greene County is commonly referred to as the cornerstone of the Keystone State. It is thus the foundation on which the state is set. It is indispensable, essential to Pennsylvania. It has earned the title of cornerstone through its continuous efforts to support the state and its industry. Historically, Greene County's most notable contributions have been those involving natural resource extraction. Greene County lies atop the Pittsburgh coal seam, which has been referred to as the world's most valuable single deposit. The bituminous coal that was found in this coal bed was of particularly high quality and ideal for coke production. Large-scale mining began in this region in 1860. The true rapid growth in this area's coal industry began in the early 1900s, though. In 1902, Greene County established its first large-scale commercial mining operation, the Dilworth Mine. This was a point in history that would significantly change the way of life in Greene County. Primarily agricultural in nature until this point, it was joked that there were more sheep than people in Greene County. However, with the sudden onslaught of the coal industry, the economy quickly shifted gears. Coal largely powered the Industrial Revolution. As demand for energy continued to rise, so did the call for more miners to fuel the revolution. Increasing numbers of Southern and Eastern European immigrants moved to Pennsylvania to be a part of the mining workforce. Throughout the 1930s, Pennsylvania was the nation's top producer of bituminous coal. The influx of immigrants produced a low-wage workforce that the coal operators could control. These miners and their families were seen purely as a source of labor. As more workers moved into the region, the coal operators were forced to build towns to take in the influx of new people. Thus, within these patch towns, as they were called, life revolved entirely around the coal industries. Eleanor Music was the daughter of Slavic immigrants who lived in Bobtown, located in Greene County. Her father worked in the mine, and she recounted her experience in 1987 in a publication titled A History of Bobtown. The company owned you, your family, the food in your mouth, the clothes on your back, the roof over your head, and they used the violence and the threat of violence to keep their workers docile. Churches in the coalfields preached strict adherence to the company's every whim and denounced the emerging trade unions as a dangerous foreign influence. If you were obedient, if you worked until you dropped, God would provide for you after you died. The combination of the religious incentive and the omnipresence of the coal industry in the lives of the miners kept them and their families relatively obedient. Many of the miners were afraid of the repercussions of speaking out: brutality, rape, and sometimes murder. This fear created a sort of complacency among the workers. Coal extraction has continued in Greene County up until present day. According to the county's Department of Economic Development, it is currently Pennsylvania's top producer of bituminous coal. The continued presence of the coal industry and the legacy of violence has notably impacted the region. It is particularly evident in the way in which many Greene County citizens have responded to the influx of the natural gas industry into the region.
It's a cultural, I think a lot of it is historically cultural. This end of the county, particularly back in the day of Andrew Carnegie, it was immigrants. Couldn't speak English, they feared everyone, they feared the coal industry. You know, the coal industry built this town. Bobtown was built by Shannabin, the folks that owned Shannabin Mine.
Right, in the 20s, 1920s.
Yeah, in the 1920s.
Populated to a large extent by immigrants many of whom had somewhat limited English-speaking abilities, but they did have, as opposed to West Virginia, very quickly had unions, which I'm sure that the mine operators regretted as a result.
But if you have a company that's going to build you a house, and right over there you passed it was the company store that's going to give you script to buy food, you're not going to say too much about any kind of problems that societal problems that you may be having, because that could easily be taken away from you in any given moment. So it's almost like, if you ask me, it's like living under a fear regime.
Most of these people are one generation removed from the men coming in and beating your father up if he resisted the coal company.
Or Ken DeFalla has an uncle who was shot.
Or if he picketed because of unions or something like this. They are only one generation removed from that. It's their parents and their uncles and aunts that were abused by the coal company. So you go to these people and you say, you have to resist this company that is putting things into your water. And they go, well, why? We can't do anything. They're just going to run roughshod over us. And they're, beginning to see that maybe this isn't the coal industry. Maybe we're not going to get shot. But that's still come up in meetings. If we resist these people, are they going to come after us with shotguns? Is somebody going to threaten us? That's actually come up as a subject in meetings.
Yeah.
The ever-present fear of the coal industry impacted the initial reaction to the entrance of the natural gas industry in the early 2000s. However, as development has progressed, citizens of Greene County in southwestern Pennsylvania have begun to realize the most notable aspect of this Marcellus shale gas boom: its reach.
In the past, coal operators were fairly small operations, and they were able to go in and build a mine in one valley, and all the impact was in that valley, and all the other people were just told, stay away, forget about it. It's not you, it's just impacting this area. Marcellus impacts everybody almost at the same time. It affects the water supply. The drilling goes on pretty uniformly throughout the region. So the opposition, instead of being just in one community, the opposition to the negative aspects of it are much more widespread in Marcellus than they are in coal.
Change makes people uncomfortable, and there's been enormous change.
And you can't go into town without the subject coming up. Anywhere.
Traffic lights.
The traffic.
We've had triple the number of traffic lights we had before.
Trucks that run you off the road. Just all sorts of different subjects come up. So it's just
we're used to it.
Constantly. It's constantly on everyone's mind.
In these smaller rural towns, all eyes have turned towards Marcellus Shale. Those who have struggled to make ends meet in these areas initially viewed this industry as an opportunity for profit, either by working on the rigs or by leasing their land. The Marcellus Shale play has been touted as a way for America to create thousands of new jobs and to gain energy independence.
The area has always been desperate for jobs. The coal industry has always helped maintain that stance, and I don't know exactly how they do it. I'm not going to go, you'd have to write another term paper on that. But anything that says jobs or the potential of income or money is met with open arms.
But, you know, a couple people that never had anything have financially benefited from the Marcellus. But most of the folks that are making money off of Marcellus were people that already had money. And it's really, when we look at overall all the community, we have, you know, as of 2009, we had a 17.1% poverty rate. We have 19% of the population in Greene County that can't make ends meet. We've lost 20% of our population. I think we're going downhill, and a lot of people don't realize how fast we're sliding. I think they're so used to it.
I mean, many people in the county are not able to get the better paying jobs that are associated with drilling. So it's necessary to impact workers. So who profits? Lawyers, accountants, banks, to some extent. Hotels, restaurants.
People.
The businesses that cater to itinerant workers.
When this boom is over, and we had this boom before in the 20s.
There was a boom in the 20s. There was, of course, World War II, and there was coal mine was open again here in the 60s. So there were ups and downs,
yeah.
But in between there was depressions, essentially.
Yeah.